Ambassador Inderfurth, you were just there as an election observer in Afghanistan.
Right.
Do you think that the elections were legitimate?
We still have that to be determined. I think that the Electoral Complaints Commission and Mr. Grant Kippen are still going through the Priority A allegations. I think they had over 2,000 complaints, and about 600 of them are being looked at now. So I think we need to see this process play itself out. Clearly there were instances of fraud. How widespread they were and whether or not they were decisive in terms of the outcome, I don't think we know the answer to that yet. But I am concerned about that direction. I saw millions of people going to vote on Election Day. It was an inspiration again to see so many Afghans taking part in the process. I hope at the end of the day it was a legitimate process because they deserve it.
Let's say that the Complaints Commission says that this election there was high levels of fraud, and could the Complaints Commission call for a runoff or for a new election?
They have a couple of different remedies that they can engage in. They can exclude specific ballots, and that's something that they have already done. They have looked at some ballot boxes and said these are clearly problematic. For instance, all of the ballots were marked in exactly the same way by the same pen, and they excluded those ballots. So they have the power to exclude specific ballots. They have also called for a process that will look at all of the ballot boxes across the country where there are more than 95% of votes for one candidate, or there are more than 600 ballots in one box, because the Electoral Commission estimated that there would be a maximum of 600 voters. That would indicate approximately 100% turnout. But we know from the figures that turnout was more in the range of 20 to 50% in different polling stations. So consistent 100% turnout would indicate a problem.
To me, and what I've seen in many countries around the Middle East and South Asia and other places, is that an election process itself doesn't necessarily bestow legitimacy on a leader. It's whether those leaders or those institutions provide for the basic needs. It's something I think we all have discussed and have written about, that an election is just one moment in time, and I think the most important thing is, will the Afghan leaders step up and actually develop a program for better governance, for fighting the corruption, and to make the lives better for their own people? And I think what the U.S. can do, and other international actors, is to help them with a clear program and actually demand certain commitments and certain targets towards fulfilling those objectives to meeting the needs of their people. This sounds simple, but I think it's often forgotten. Basic needs. Do civilians feel secure in their neighborhoods? Is there an opportunity for people to get a job, to feed their family, and to get an education? And it's those sorts of things, those building blocks, that I think are as essential as any troop training or police training programs we might contemplate.
And Alex, what do you think the priorities should be for the next leader?
Well, I think that there are really three key priorities that Afghanistan has to focus on right now. The first is obviously security. Without security, all the other things that we might do, healthcare, building roads, education, and so on, that all goes up in smoke. The second, I think, is justice and impunity. I think that the thing that has turned Afghans away from the promise of the post-Ba'ath, post-Taliban government the most has been the fact that there hasn't been good governance, that the police are often believed to be corrupt at the local level, that people don't feel secure, not only their personal security, but they don't feel that they can get a good decision, that they can get justice, and that there's not justice for the powerful when they do wrong. And the third thing is food. There are real food security problems in Afghanistan. It remains mostly a subsistence farming country, and self-sufficiency for Afghans, fair prices for Afghan farmers, I think will make the biggest difference economically and personally for Afghans.